Good evening. I'm Anthony Mason reporting from the American Cemetery in Normandy, France, the final resting place for more than 9,300 Americans who died in the Allied invasion. It's early morning here in France, June 6th, exactly 75 years since D-Day. A ceremony here will mark the anniversary. On that morning, more than 150,000 troops landed on the Normandy beaches, many of them teenagers facing combat for the first time. German guns killed more than 2,500 Americans that first day. Months of heavy fighting followed in northern France, but D-Day marked a turning point in World War II. Victory over Nazi Germany would come less than a year later. 16 million Americans served during World War II. Fewer than 500,000 are still alive. On Wednesday, 300 D-Day veterans and world leaders gathered for ceremonies in Portsmouth, England, the main launching point for the invasion. More now from Ben Tracy, who's traveling with President Trump in Ireland tonight. Ben?
Anthony, the president is spending the night here in Ireland at a golf club that he owns in between these two D-Day events. Now, he is one of many world leaders who have come together to remember perhaps the greatest moment of the greatest generation.
It is only fitting that the tribute to one of the most remarkable military operations in history took place on both land and in the air. Recreating part of that fateful day in 1944, warplanes dropped hundreds of parachutists from the sky, including veterans of the Normandy invasion.
Almighty God, our sons, pride of our nation.
President Trump read the prayer that Franklin Roosevelt delivered to the nation on D-Day.
Some will never return. Embrace these, Father, and receive them, the heroic servants, into thy kingdom.
10 D-Day veterans took the stage, representing both their fallen comrades and the many who have since departed. These humble heroes, their pace slowed by time, brought heads of state and royalty to their feet. Queen Elizabeth, now 93 years old, said she had feared the 60th anniversary, 15 years ago, might be the last such ceremony with living veterans attending.
But the wartime generation, my generation, is resilient, and I'm delighted to be with you in Portsmouth today.
After the event, the President and the Queen said their goodbyes, the official end of President Trump's state visit to Britain. But before leaving London, Mr. Trump sat down for an interview and was asked about not serving in Vietnam due to bone spurs in his feet.
Do you wish you'd been able to serve? Would you like to have served your country?
Well, I was never a fan of that war, I'll be honest with you. I thought it was a terrible war. I thought it was very far away. Nobody ever, you're talking about Vietnam, and at that time, nobody ever heard of the country.
The president says he's now making up for not serving by providing more funds for the military. This afternoon, Mr. Trump arrived in Ireland, where he met with the country's prime minister before heading to his golf club.
Now, the site of that meeting between the president and the Irish prime minister was a bit odd. They actually ended up meeting in the VIP lounge at the airport. That is because the president wanted to have the meeting at his golf club. The Irish government did not. They preferred a nearby castle. The compromise was the airport. Anthony?
Ben Tracy in Ireland. Thanks, Ben.